We are.
I had the VA last night, and I'm sure it did everything right, but this morning I can't seem to log on to it.
Okay. Wycliffe, I allowed you sometime during today into the VA, right? So if you go to SkymatixVA.com, you should be able to log in now and you should be able to get going. While we're flying, we can maybe talk you through some of the setup if you need it. Anyway, we're live on YouTube. Good evening, everybody. Chronic, you first again. And we've got Piotr and Rob and Steve there. Good evening, guys. Man, we just had an interesting, fast-paced discussion here between us guys here on Discord. So that's why you had to wait for us a minute here and why the stream kind of started with everybody still talking. So forgive us, it's one of those things. Zibo asked me to quickly do a test, and I don't know, it's my luck, man. I chose to fly from Toronto to Boston, and yeah. If it wasn't a simulator, I wouldn't even attempt it. Now, in my stupidity, I promise you I'm going to attempt this. Hello, Agent B7. So, yeah, I don't think the real world they would actually let us push when it looks like this. It's just, it's crazy. You can't do it. So I'm not sure how long it's going to last. When I spawned here, it was not as bad. You actually had a good 10-mile visibility, and it just closed in while we were still talking. So Agent B7, I like this weather too. So we're going to have to do the whole de-icing thing. And the funny thing is, if you could have seen through all the buildings and everything right there in front of me, probably 1,000 meters away, that's the de-icing bay. So we're going to push tail to the right, nose to the left. We're going to taxi all the way around. And we're going to have to go to those bays to get the de-icing done, then come all the way back to 05 for the takeoff. And just to give you an indication of weather, have a look here. Sorry, guys, let me quickly share screen here on Discord as well. Then you guys can see it. That's Dimitri. Dimitri. Check this. Check, there, that's where I am. So we're actually going to fly out of the weather, so that's a good thing. But it's bad, man. It's really, it's going to be a challenge to get out of here. But we're up for it. Good evening, Dimitri. So, just to reiterate, in the real world, I promise you, I probably would not want to push here. My sim is stuck. Why? Can you guys still hear me? Oh, crap. What happens now? Hello, can you hear me? I think you can hear me now. My sim just froze up. There we go. Crashed to desktop. Damn it! I wonder what did that.
By the way, welcome to the Great White North, Nico.
Yeah. Let me just quickly see what crashed it. And then we'll just quickly fire up again and get going again. That's not good. I was obviously fiddling with STKP. I need to speak to Dan. I think this latest version of STKP is doing a couple of weird things. Yes. Art controls modified. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's probably the weather. So let's start again. Let's get going. My simulator has been standing there for at least an hour already, just standing there. So I don't know why it would wait an hour before it crashes. So it probably means we need to get out of there before the hour, is up again. Yeah, the voice will keep breaking when X-Plane freezes my system, Steve. X-Plane froze my system badly just now as it was crashing. So apologies, but it's part of the deal, unfortunately. Right, so just to put you in the picture, that is the de-icing bay. That's where we are. So we're going to taxi all the way there, get the de-icing, come down, go down. That's runway 5 over there and take off as per the real world. So that's the idea, guys. Let's try again. I don't mind if my voice breaks when X-Plane crashes, as long as the stream doesn't crash, because otherwise when I have to reboot my system and I lose the stream, I have to schedule a new one. Then you'll have to find me again, in the new stream, because we can't resume the old stream. It's just one of those funny things. Hey, Dave. Right, so there's our checklist. We're going to have to use our anti-ice checklist thingy again.
Push back failure.
Yeah, I forgot about the shader cache. You're right. You're actually correct. If he does it again, we'll do that. Silly thing. Hello, Clyde. Woo! Okay, good. Thanks for confirming. Oof. B7. I'm going to definitely remember that. I should have done it. I just didn't think about it, man. But, yeah, it's me. Sorry. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, what's happening here, Nico? It even says pilot not found on the login screen, so I know that I logged in. I know that I registered with my proper name and everything. I don't know what's going on.
Give me a second. I'll tell you now.
No, you get your stream going. Don't worry.
Wait. It's a minute. It's going to take me a second. So you've got Wycliffe at wycliffebarrett.co.za. .co.uk. I'm so used to COZA. Sorry, it's COUK. That's your email address. That's your user that you need to log in with, right?
Okay, so let me log in with my full email address.
Yes, please. And then the password that you chose. Otherwise, if the password doesn't work, I will reset it for you. Righto. Okay, so that is done. Now, in this weather, we definitely need those wing heaters on very quickly.
I am in.
Okay, hundreds. That's good stuff. Right, so because of the temperatures and all this new scripts and stuff that we're running, I'm going to start this APU immediately. Yeah, thanks, P7. You know what? That's what makes our community great. We help each other. In the heat of the moment, one does not always think of everything. And when there's a helping hand, it just means a lot. I believe that's one of the nice cornerstones of our community, is how we help each other. Right, so we're waiting on that. Let's quickly see what flight level were we assigned. 310, so we might as well set that up quickly. 310. And Boston. Oh, come on, move. Altitude to Boston. No? Should have known. There we go. Right, so now we're going to do this fancy thing. We're going to put the packs on auto. We're going to put the isolation valve closed. Oh, we're going to put that thing on. Now, Sasso said we need to wait 2 minutes, but, you know, 2 minutes is a long time. Now we're not in the real baby, so what we need to now make sure is that that temperature rises to above 20 degrees. Hello, Gilbert. Yeah, you're welcome. Antonio? Oh, he went to dinner, sorry, yes, he said.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
The crash wasn't too bad. Look, we've got better visibility, you see. Probably just some fog that rolled in the previous instance. No, he's not here either. Gilbert, it is on x-plane.to. All my liveries for X-Plane is there, and Microsoft 2020 liveries are all on flightsim.to. All the ones that we share anyway. I mean, there are a couple that is private, we don't share, but generally they're there. One Ollie as well. Ooh, I missed that. That was too fast for me. Huh? That doesn't look right. Yes, we're on 05. Yes, we're on. Yes, we have that one. Ow. That's not how Navigraph drew this. It's completely different. Okay, not to worry. We can do it. It's just a surprise.
Ground flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Okay, so we need to select takeoff. We need to finish and then set it up. Okay, hang on. That should give it to you. If you struggle with the x-plane.to1, that first link, just take the word uploads out, because it might be that it's obviously, you know, my behind the scenes page, that one, but you should just have profile Skymatix then, and then it should work. Either one of them should work. B7, yeah, I know it's 1 minute for APU bleed for engine start, but when we were discussing the actual temperatures and building up the temperature in the back, his company SOP says you put the first one on the A, the second one on the U, and the last one on the T. So it sounds, you know, it looks like that. They kind of spread out, you know, and trim air obviously needs to come on. Got that one. And he said they usually wait 2 minutes for this specific thing. Anyway, that's what he said. Hello, Alex. Doesn't matter, Gilbert. I'm still thinking about this issue. Okay, I mean, let me show you. Let me show you why this thing is. Why I'm still thinking about it. This is how Navigraph draws it. There is no mention of vectors or anything. So it's just weird. It caught me a little bit by surprise, because in my mind, I thought that these two were going to be connected. Now you get into the aircraft and now you've got vectors. And okay, well, whatever. You know, so that helping you just quickly unscrambled my brain. Well, B7, I'm not the real pilot. He is the real pilot. So I don't know. Like I said, we always run on 1 minute for the APU for engine start. That's not a problem, but apparently that's a thing there. I don't know what it is. Next time he's online, ask him, because I'm going to forget, you know. Okay, how far are we loaded? 44% there, and we've got nice temperature already, so that's cool. Well, heading wouldn't. We're going to get vectors, literally. So what we'll do is we'll take off, we'll wait until about 2,000 foot AGL, you know, turn ourselves on course, and then go to legs page, fix up the first waypoint, execute, and then go LNAV. You know, that's about what I've got in my mind right now.
Got the cars and everything, Nico. I'm going to leave everything now until after Christmas and I'll sort it out.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I got your livery and your tablet skin and everything. Very nice livery.
Excellent. That's good. Glad you like it. Right, we're almost loaded.
Yeah, I think the livery's the tablet. I thought I was getting the blue skin, but it turned out to be white. So I need to have a look at that again.
Yeah, old Jared made all those things, really made it nice. Those bezels for the tablet, man. It's really cool. Alright, okay, so we're just waiting for this guy. No, Gilbert, don't worry about things like that. I can multitask when I can, and when I can't, you'll just have to wait, kind of a thing. We fit everything in the way we can, you know. It's just all part of the deal. Don't let it, worry you too much. Right, okay, so let's do this. We'll go there, and we're all done. Let's check out doors. Last one's closing.
Grounded cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Beacon light can go on. Departing the fix. Good evening. Absolutely. Typical North American departure. Right, I see we've got 3 degrees, so the fluid is actually not required.
All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Which is a bit of a problem, because now we've pushed the wrong way. Yeah, no, well, you see, if you go into that level of detail, departing the fix, I relied on the line, not the chart. When I go to the chart, I can see that it's vectors. It's just, you're 100% correct. I was just a little bit surprised, because usually when they draw the picture on the outside, it's fairly accurate. Now they made their own difference there. So. Right, let's see, is this thing still there? Is it gone now?
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
We don't need the anti-ice fluid, so we might as well just taxi and do the normal
Ground to cockpit.
procedures.
Tow is driving up.
There we go. Hello, James. Righto. And
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, we're ready to go. So we've got 3 degrees, and the checklist says that between 1 and 10 with visible reported moisture of any kind, or if you can see it, engine and wing anti-ice during all operations, and you taxi with flaps up. So we're going to do that. Right, there's the checklist.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Thank you. James, I'm not sure what you're saying there because they've got this stupid heart over your text here in the streaming software. I have tried, I think you say, to connect to me on Discord. What happened there? I mean, it's a straightforward process. You should be able to. I've tried to message you on Discord. I don't see a message from you. Try again. Otherwise, just come join Discord. Come chat. Have a word. Just told you we need to taxi with flaps up now. I want to set them. See, muscle memory. That's a hand slap there. There's fuel in. What thing? My hand for pressing the button. You can't kill my hand. Yeah, I don't know if you can run uBlock in the broadcasting software. I'm not watching live on YouTube. I'm literally sitting in the broadcasting
Operation
software.
complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Thanks anyway.
Disconnecting
It
tow.
would be cool
Stand by.
to see. It would be nice. Thanks. Right, so let's quickly see. Did we lose? We lost 2 degrees there. Oh, gets cold fast.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Thank you. We will try our best. Right, so flaps is up. Taxi light on. Parking brake release. Takeoff config test will warn us because there is no flaps set. That's fine. Brake check. That also works. Let's go. Yeah, this is my first flight with 7.4. I was looking for you earlier, Tero. Now I can't remember. There was something I needed to ask you. Oh, yes. When you do your test flight, you load the default loading way. You either just put the sum total of the packs and cargo, or do you actually do what I do and you move some of the cargo from the front to the back? That was the question. Because that's going to be important in the test to know which one we're using. So I think most people, 99.9% of everybody, will simply have the auto load, put everything in place, and then they don't go fiddle with it, you know. But it would be interesting to know if you actually mess with your CG, if you change it from where Zibo puts it automatically. That was the question.
Approaching 15 right.
Hello, Peter. Welcome. I did. Can you believe it? I did. See that? You see, I read the checklist, and then when I had to do it, I didn't read it again and do it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ay. Wonder why I did that. Just slipped my mind completely. I brought this thing up on my screen here now, so it's staring me in the face. Exactly. You're my heroes. Thank you, man. I slipped my mind, man. This taxiway is so big, you can take off from it. I promise you, it feels like a runway. It's huge.
Harrison would be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he would really mistake that for runway.
So, well, he did it twice, eh?
Yeah, I think it was twice he did it. I mean, come on. And he's a pilot of some years.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost there. I know. And that again just tells us how important it is to have two guys in the cockpit, pilot flying and pilot monitoring, because, I mean, in all honesty, it could have been devastating, you know, so... Okay, no, that's all I wanted to know, Tero, because it does not help I go and change, you know, the CG, and then we have a wrong conclusion on my tests. Stephen, I wrote it. I took the FCOM and I made it more human-like. And then what I did was, instead of just having a normal checklist, this is actually more precisely called a step-by-step guide, because it literally, you can take a ruler and a pencil and you can go line by line by line through this thing, and it will take you from cold and dark to landing and shut down everything on the other side, you know. So it's way more than just a checklist, but the procedures are like 99% based on the Boeing FCOM. So I made it years and years and years ago. It's evolved slightly, and I've just never updated it. Maybe this December, if I've got some time between Christmas and New Year, I must actually just update it, you know, get it to the relevant point now with all the new features in both Zibo and PMDG, you know, because we can upload things now and stuff we couldn't do earlier and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's just something I made for the new flyers. When I started out in the Zibo world, I very quickly learned that a lot of people needed a lot of help. So I started writing all these things, you know, like the Zibo install guide, this checklist thing, and, you know, started helping, training, getting the guys going, and that was a great help. Exactly, we don't want to end up in the Potomac, eh? No, if you look, let me show you something else while we're talking about it. All right, there's a checklist. Okay, this is loosely based on a Ryanair checklist that was floating around. Okay, but this is for seasoned pilots. You know, this is just to check the checks. Okay, but this is, you know, just one option. And then remember here we've got the checklist and procedures. You can set this to be advanced, or you can set this to be like entry level. So you've got two options. Okay, and depending on where you are, let me show you this quickly. Let's go for takeoff, right? You see something is flicking, right? Okay. You see there? Look, there's a little arrow. There's flicking. It's asking me if my runway heading is correct. And you know what? It ain't. We would have had a hell of a surprise going into the air there. It should be on 57. Because I was going to definitely go heading select. So there you go. So now we can tick it off. So strobe light. Look, the arrow is telling me I need to go now to strobe. There we go. So now we can go to your other lights as needed. Transponder. It's telling me I need to go to TARA. There we go. That's the transponder. So we can say that. So this, both of the checklists that you see here is 100% based on FCOM. Whether you take the short one or the more advanced one, you know, that's up to you. So there you go. Fixed landing lights, thrust levers. Check how nice it is, you know. I mean, anybody who really wants to learn how to fly the Zibo is going to have a ball of a time if he can figure out how to get this thing working, because there's like just 2 or so settings in the EFB you need to set, and then there you go. Anyway, we can't really go there. We need to get on the runway first. Let's get on there.
Approaching 05.
Thanks to Potting the Fix. We'll talk again. Thanks for stopping by.
On runway 05.
See, now we need to remember we need to put the flaps. She just said it, but I was 2 seconds faster than I remembered myself. We need to set the flaps now. Right, so let's get us centered there. Yeah, the FCOM requirement says that between 3 and 10 degrees Celsius, there you go. Between 1 and 10 degrees Celsius with visible moisture, anti-ice stuff must be on, so we already checked that is on. Now during takeoff, the wing anti-ice will kick out itself, okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Then it says you taxi with the flaps up. If slush accumulation is possible due to water and precipitation at low falling temperature, caution. And then it says your wing anti-ice will switch off. So this comes from FCOM. And then the wing anti-ice must be on during all ground operations, etc., etc. So that comes from the FCOM. One of the big issues I had when I made this thing is that I come from a flight simming background in the 737, not the real world thing, okay? And some of the things we used to do in PMDG, you can't do in the real aircraft. And then I had to change the way I do things, you know, when I joined Zibo, and we had to do it more real. And then we got into arguments with real pilots, and then I realized, you know what, I'm going to have to, if I make this checklist thing, it's going to have to be based on the FCOM so that the real pilots can't fight with me. And I'm glad I did, because now we've got a better idea of what to do, when to do, and those things. Toga, let's go. Let's see what happens. No, I hear you. And during my investigation, there was one incident with Norwegian Air that was prominent. I can't remember if it was 2005 or somewhere. They almost crashed and killed everybody on board because they followed the Boeing SOP at that time. So Norwegian and Boeing then developed a new one. So if you read an FCOM that incident and after that incident, you'll also see there are small discrepancies, of how they do things. And it's all based upon the real world incident that almost killed everybody, So you're right, there's legal stories to go, but then there's obviously practical things and, the airline SOPs and things like that. My big thing is just, I hate it when a real pilot says to me, you don't know what you're talking about, and then I don't have any defense. So that's why I stick to the FCOM, because I can say to him, well, there's the Boeing FCOM page so-and-so, there it's what it says. Obviously your SOP is different, so, let's agree to disagree or whatever the outcome would be of the discussion. But it's a bit harsh when you're trying your best and a real-world pilot comes and berates you, belittles you, and treats you like crap because, he's got a different way of doing things. So that's where the FCOM comes in handy. Oh, it's so nice to be over and out of these clouds, man. Check the ice there, see? It's cold. It's really cold. Yeah, no. I know. You and I understand each other. I'm not suggesting you do anything like that. It's just that's where I come from. In the beginning, it was really tough speaking to the real pilots when your only reference was flight simming. And I'm talking specifically about the 737. When I joined Zibo, I had something like 6,000 hours on the PMDG, and I thought I knew everything. And I got to the Zibo, and I realized I know nothing, because the PMDG at that point in time was made, in such a way that it was very forgiving. You can do stupid things in that thing, and it doesn't really penalize you. But in the Zibo, if you did something stupid, it bit you. You got a kick. And I had to learn very quickly, there's a right way and a wrong way of doing it, and then there's the simmer way of doing it, and if you get away in the one aircraft because you're bending the rules a little bit and they allow you, doesn't mean the other one's going to allow you. And I remember those fights we had, and the only thing I had to fall back to was just the FCOM. That's what Boeing says. So there was another incident, me and two Norwegian guys from Norwegian Air. The one was flying closer to, or let me put it to you, more south, and the other one was flying more north. And we discovered, just by talking to each other, that they use different SOPs. The guys flying more north have got a different way of doing what the guys are doing more south. So then we discovered there's like two SOPs in one airline kind of a thing at that time, and it became crazy. When you try to justify something to these pilots, some of them got cranky, and their only defense was, that's the FCOM, we're using FCOM. And then they have to say, okay, well, we're using our SOP, whatever. So it was funny. It was hard, but we managed, we got through and learned a lot, man. Yes, I learned a lot. I know. We've had one or two guys come our way here in the Zibo project, and they demanded we change things. And Zibo, being the nice guy he did, and then the guys on the forum said, no. Whatever that guy said, it only happens with him and his aircraft or in his airline. That's not how it works. And there was a bit of a scramble to undo what was done, and I think that was a very good learning situation as well. That's why Zibo, when he changes something or he needs to change something, he asks for photos, he asks for video from the real pilots. He wants to see the proof, and then he needs to read it somewhere in official documentation. Otherwise, he doesn't just change something. Just because a user says, yeah, but this and that and the other, it means nothing. If it's not provable in the real aircraft, it ain't gonna happen, man. Stephen, when I started flying at Grand Central Airport many years ago, took my introductory flight and started speaking to the instructors and things like that. We were sitting in the Hobart cafe. My instructor said to me something very interesting that I'll never forget, and I've said it here many times. He said to me, you must never fly with a pumpkin farmer. Have you ever heard that story? Has anybody ever said to you, you must never fly with a pumpkin farmer? No, Dave, unfortunately not. No, I'm on the latest non-public beta. It's an updated version. I'm like 5 versions ahead of you now, and I'm not sure when it's going to get released, so I'm flying it partly to let the developers also see my streams, and it's amazing how much they pick up in my streams, and then they give me feedback and stuff. So it is definitely not just settings, it's a new version, completely new version. Like, for instance, look at my outside view. If I look in front, if you look in front, yours is like white out because of that silly contrast thing, the iris simulation. So it's a brand new thing. Okay, Stephen, so the idea is this. He showed me. When we were sitting in the cafe, you get these young pilots. Some of them, when they walk, they just walk normally, hands hanging next to their bodies, maybe carrying their flight bag, normal. But then you get these guys, whether they're inside or outside, they've got their Ray-Bans on, okay? They have got this attitude when they walk. Their arms are not hanging straight next to their bodies. It looks like somebody put pumpkins under their arms because they're strutting like little cockerels, and their little elbows are bendy outside, like they're carrying pumpkins. And he said to me, those guys, you never fly with them. If you've got a wife and children, if you love your life, you don't fly with those assholes, because those are the kind of guys that will rock the wings and, do all kinds of shit during takeoff and landing, and just to prove to you that they can fly, because in reality they can't fly, so they've got to put up this arrogant show, little cockerels, walking the beat, to pretend that they can fly. And he says to me, you see that guy that just walks normally? He knows he can fly. He doesn't have to do those stupid stunts and nonsense. You go fly with him. He'll bring you home safe. Your wife will be okay. You and your wife will be happy. So that was the life lesson he gave to me. And I've always followed that rule. When I see one of these pilots that come walking in like a little cockerel, pumpkin farmer, arms out wide, strutting, Ray-Bans, I just go, ta-da, bye, not interested, take the next one. So that's the story. Hope it makes sense. Good. Yeah, we're doing okay. I don't see any major issues. It looks like we're doing okay. I think we need the engine anti-icing anymore. Woo, nice, nice. Yeah, Dave, you're right, you're right.
How's it go?
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, Stephen. Got to start somewhere. I see that very, very small oscillation is still there. If you look at the vertical indicator there, you'll see slightly. Okay, Peter. Yeah, you must enjoy that. Have fun, drive safe. No, that's silly 50 foot up and 50 foot down is just enough to make people airsick. You know, one of the things I learned when I was still involved in real aviation is it's not the quick, the fast, the rapid movement that creates it. It's those stupid, bloody, silly, small, slow movements. Those are the ones that unsettles the people's ear and balance, and then they start throwing up. So that must be really uncomfortable. Just to sit there and to constantly feel up and down, that must be a hell of an uncomfortable. Yes, I haven't flown the Phoenix in such a while. I'll have to relearn it again. Thank you, Dave. Have fun. Hello HD, same to you. Welcome. Sorry, Dave, I missed your question there. What do you mean inverted T heading bug? Where? You got me a little bit there by surprise because my attention is not quite with this question of yours. Only heading bug I have is that one over there, unless I don't understand what you mean. Or that one for the VOR maybe, I don't know. That's actually the only inverted T I can see that I know of. Dave, I'm not sure you heard me. Are you talking about this one? Because that inverted T, that's the VOR. That's pointing me to the VOR at the airport. I'll show you. So that's the chart for the ILS. There you can see there's the VOR 112.7. If you look there, you'll see it's talking to the POS VOR, which is the one on the chart. You can see POS there. It's talking to the same one, and that green T is pointing directly at that VOR, and so is the RMI needle over there. It's all pointing just to the VOR. I hope that answers your question. Right, top of descent is upon us. Yeah, that one, that's the VOR needle. That's what it is. Points to the VOR. Dave, that's an interesting question. Well, Twixter, between the three of us, is the only pilot. Twixter's got like 40, 50 years of aviation experience flying all kinds of Boeings and all kinds of other stuff. He was an examiner and he was an instructor and he was involved with all kinds of things aviation related. Zibo is an intensely private person. The amount of information that he shared with me about his private life, I can sum up in one sentence. He does not talk about his private life. I know where he stays and I know a little bit about his family. That's it. I don't know anything. I don't know what kind of job he does, what his actual vocation is, his qualifications is nothing. All I know is he's a flippant genius, you know, and it's a pleasure working with him. You know, he's very professional, very to the point. You know, we never just sit and talk nonsense. In all the years I've worked with him, it's happened like 3 times. Seriously, 3 times. That him and I just sat and talked about something else other than Zibo, and we just talked about life and things like that. So he's intensely private. So I can't really say more than that. And as for me, I'm just a wannabe pilot. I never got to live my dream. I had to give it up many years ago. And I just use the simulator to keep myself going and to keep the dream alive, basically. I've got my own little IT business in the real world and I just survive, man. I just do my little thing on the side, and it's partly due to the fact that I work for myself that I can spend so much time on the Zibo, because as long as the servers run and the customers are happy, there's nobody bugging me. You know, I don't sit and crunch numbers the whole day. I don't have to sit and, you know, do physical labor and things. So I make sure the systems run. That buys me time and that gives me Zibo time. That's about the extent of it, you know. Hello, YZ. Okay, cool, Dave. I think everybody has had problems with the Zibo turning in icing conditions because of the way it simulates or tries to simulate the real world. So you've got to taxi with your asymmetrical power, so you've got to push one throttle more than the other. You've got to do it very slowly, like less than 10 knots. You've got to turn slowly. So X-Plane, I feel, is a little bit oversensitive. It makes it a little bit harder than it should be, but you just need to do it slowly and purposefully, then you should be okay. Well, Dave, Zibo watches a lot of my videos. I think the chance of him not seeing a comment here on the video is there. It is obviously there, but in general, he usually watches all my videos. So if you want to leave him a message, you're welcome to do so, or just pop him a message on Discord or in the forum. You know, I'm sure he knows, because I keep on telling him, or I have told him many times, and he, obviously when he watches and he sees comments like that, he picks up on it, you know. But if you want to make a special thing about it, just tag him on the forum or on, you know, leave a message on Discord in the Zibo chat. He'll pick it up, you know, then you can tell him. He's a humble guy, eh? Zibo is a very humble guy. He's got a dry sense of humor. Man, a few words. Promise you, we don't have to speak. I've said it before. You know, sometimes he says one sentence and it's like reading the Bible. You get 2 sermons out of it. One sentence. He just tells you so many things in one sentence. It's not funny. So it's a pleasure working with him and Twixter, I tell you. I'm sure they do. I know of quite a few people that have told me lately they've sent in donations. It's appreciated. And I mean, I appreciate mine as well. I had a guy the other day tell me, thank you would be nice, but it's impossible. I can't thank everybody individually always, you know. So when Christmas Day comes, I was thinking of just thanking everybody. So I'll do it now as well, you know. Any and everybody that puts money to me or to Zibo and things, you know, guys, we really appreciate it. Twixter doesn't take donations. Maybe we can convince him in future to do so, but he doesn't. So, you know, for the two rest of us, we really appreciate it. Dave, Zibo started the Zibo mod in 2016. I joined him in, well, I joined the project as such through Jorge, which was the initial pilot in the project, in March of 2017. And I started doing all kinds of things behind the scenes. And for the longest time, nobody knew I was helping out and doing things, you know, and it was just kept hush-hush. And a lot of people, when I commented, I remember those days, well, some of the people got angry because how can you talk on behalf of Zibo? You're not part of the team. And wow, all kinds of nonsense. I just stuck through. So I started writing the Zibo install guide and this training checklist, and I started doing training and support, and we eventually had that little shop going where we sold the mugs and the t-shirts and the stuff to get a little bit more money going. And you know, so I was involved in all these things behind the scenes, and I started, you know, the second Google Drive and the torrents eventually, and you know, I was always just in the background. And slowly but surely over time, I would say within the next couple of months, you know, it was nice. I started speaking to Zibo directly, and I started giving input, and it all just kind of happened slowly but surely. It was like fate, you know, it had to happen. And it worked out marvelously, fabulously. And me and Twixter obviously also started sharing lots of stuff behind the scenes. It was nice. Me and Jorge, for instance, we used to fly together a lot. He had a Twitch channel, and every morning 6 a.m. my time, it was like 10 p.m. his time because he was in Seattle. I would join him on Discord, and we either fly together or I just watch him fly, because that was usually the time I used to get ready to go to work, kind of a thing. And we just became friends. We really just became friends over a period. And I think for Twixter and Zibo the same, we just became friends. We found things work very nicely together. I'm glad you love it. I was ridiculed a lot in the beginning because of my accent, and at one point in time I almost gave up streaming and being in the public eye because of the accent, because the kind of feedback I got, man, people were making fun of me, man. And the funny thing is, when you catch them out and they kind of, you know, the beans got spilled, man, some of those guys were so embarrassed when it came out. They thought my accent was the funniest thing on earth. I almost gave it up, eh? So I'm glad I had one friend that said to me, no man, they're talking nonsense. Yeah, and I just stuck through. That was funny. I want to tell you something else just quickly. I had a bad experience in virtual aviation just before I met Zibo, and I was really in a bad place, and I was also contemplating of just giving up on this whole virtual aviation thing. Don't want to go into too much detail. And Zibo and Tim and Jorge, when I started working together with them, they basically saved my life in brackets, you know, my virtual aviation life, because I was down, man. Yes, I was really, really depressed and just fed up with the whole bloody story of everything that happened to me. So I'm really grateful that it happened that way. Thankful that we met the time we met and that we could actually work so well together. It's magic. It was just God sent, absolutely God sent at the right time. And if I think back now, getting the terrible situation happened to me when it did, I thought it was the end of the world, but it was actually a new beginning. And I wouldn't be here if that bad thing didn't happen. So it worked out for the greater good. You know, so I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. Everything just worked out perfectly. I'm glad, Dave. I'm glad. No, I'm not going to stop. I must be honest with you guys. When all is said and done, right? The fact that you guys love what I do and what we do as a team is my inspiration. And the fact that I have an escape place to come to, being the Zibo project, and my friends here, you guys here, and you know, on Discord and on the stream and on all the platforms we operate, it's my go-to place. It's my happy place. And the fact that you like what I do is amazing. It's funny. It's cool. It's grand. I don't know how else to put it. I love it. It's my happy place. So I'm glad you guys like it, because that's my inspiration for doing it as well. Right, we're coming up to the airport. A little bit of snow down there, eh? Amazing. We all have places like that. Hello, Giuliano. Rob, you're welcome. You're welcome. It wasn't planned, it just happened, man. I'm glad you liked it. You can say that again, Alex. I know. It's funny. Dankjewel.
Graag gedaan.
I like the snow effect on the Orthos, eh? The fact that we can have snow on the Orthos just makes it so cool. It's really nice. Look at that. That's really cool. Right, so the plan is I'm going to go slightly beyond the last waypoint. We're going to put the next one up at the top when we get there, and then we'll just fly a little bit past and turn around, come in for finals and do the landing. Exactly, Steve. But you know what? When the bullying happens, okay, you don't necessarily think about it. And Uncle John, many times, he would come to me and say to me, Nico, don't worry about the 1%. Think about the 99% of the people that love you, that want to support you, that need you, you know? I just got a message from Tim. He's airborne, he's flying, and he just says he's about to go over the Atlantic now. He's about to leave the mainland. That's so cool. Enjoy, Twixter. Yeah. Dave, the cons is that it's not really made for X-Plane 12. It's actually an X-Plane 11 thing. It works in X-Plane 12. Okay, so we are very happy that it does work. Okay. Other than that, there is no cons. Once you get it working, if you have a working internet, I mean, this thing really means a lot. I mean, I don't like to fly without it, I must be honest. When I fly in my beta X-plane, when we do all the beta testing and alpha testing, it's so bland. It's this really turns the simulator alive for me, you know. So the pros for me is it just makes everything better, and I can highly recommend it. Okay, the one thing that's not really a con, but the barrier to entry, if we can call it that, is just to get it going. Some people actually have an issue getting it going. I never had an issue. I just installed it and it worked. It's like a 5-minute job. Others suffer. They really suffer, and I can only think that there's something wrong with their Windows under the hood, you know, that's preventing them from really installing it. But if you've got a proper internet fiber connection or fast ADSL, there's no reason you can't have it, or shouldn't be a reason you can't have it, and it really changes the world. It's small. It is very small compared to Ortho for XP. I mean, I had a 6 terabyte hard drive, and I had maybe a 15th of the world in tiles. You know, the rest you can never do because the hard drives are expensive and it just takes so much space, you know. This one is just super easy. And it's small and it does the job on the fly, you know. So I love it. I can highly recommend it. I'm going to help Steve afterwards to try and get him going. So if you guys want to join us on Discord and sit in on the little session, you guys are welcome. Okay, so it's like I say, it should be a 5-minute job. There shouldn't be anything to it. My video that I made on how to install the original version is kind of outdated now. I really need to redo it, but I also haven't had the time yet, so highly recommend it, man. Andreas, I don't know. On my system, I don't see any adverse reaction. I've got a i7 13700K CPU with 64 gig RAM. So I don't know how it's going to behave on a smaller system, but for me, I have no adverse reaction at all because of it. Nothing. No FPS drop, no lag, nothing. I have had it once or twice where one of the map service providers would be lagging, and then you get like a stutter in between loading tiles. Okay, and it takes like 3 seconds, 4 seconds on my system, and you hang kind of in the air, and then you continue again, which is highly annoying. A lot of people walked away from AutoOrtho because that happened to them. But it doesn't happen that much with me. Maybe once or twice in the whole lifespan of it, it's happened to me, you know. So just got to accept that. I've had Microsoft 2020 not be able to furnish me with the map tiles, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen that simulator without their AI and their orthos. I mean, it's worse than FSX. It's terrible when that thing goes wonky. So you know, it's not perfect, and it's internet dependent. You know, one of those things. Yeah, Rob, Uncle John also moved from Doken to WinFSP, okay? I use Doken. I never had a problem at all, ever. And the one thing I discovered while doing support with the guys is it's easier to work with the zip file than it is to work with the actual EXE installation. All right, so that's one tip I can give you. Don't use the EXE. And maybe it's just because I'm an idiot, but I don't seem to understand what the difference is, because in my mind there shouldn't be a difference. It should just work the same. But I saw while I was trying to help Uncle John to get going, the EXE is kind of not working exactly the same as the zip. And in the zip one, I've got full control. I tell it what to do, it does what I want it to do. But in the EXE, I didn't have a good experience with that one. And you know, so being the control freak, I just recommend use the zip one. And
radio
then
altimeter.
You can still use the principle in my video, you know, create your folders, put everything in place, point it to the right directly. The moment you install it, you just need to download the base. If you want the whole world, it's 100 gigabyte that you need to download, you know, to get the base map and stuff going. That's for all your elevations and that kind of information that you need to download. And then obviously the pictures themselves gets downloaded on the fly. So I better start concentrating now. I'm talking too much. I'm having great fun with you guys now. I'm really enjoying the chat. Yeah, it's free. It's completely free. If your internet can handle it, it's highly recommended. Here we go, all green. That sun sits in an awkward position, I can tell you that.
Feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Approaching 2 left.
I just sent you another message. Do you have SAM installed? If you have SAM installed, there's a trick that you need to do. If you guys want, listen, it started with Steve now, okay, and I want to help Steve, obviously, first of all, because he asked me. But if you guys want to hang around, you know, and you want me to show you on stream here, we can do that as well, eh?
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Ooh, that's lovely. Yeah, we need to get your SAM settings set correctly then as well. I'll show you now, Steve. It's very important because SAM is what's causing that error you just showed me. SAM is a menace when it comes to AutoOrtho. That was an absolutely stunning landing, sun and all. That was lovely. Right. We don't really need you. Yeah, it was nice. I liked it. Steve, one of the things I've discovered is every time you remove Ortho for XP and try put it again, okay, you're running the risk of more errors. Never ever take that thing out unless you mean it, okay? I don't know if it was just unique to Uncle John's system, but every time he installed it and uninstalled it, it's like it created little ghost images of itself all over the place. And it got to a point where we had to format and reload his hard drive because that machine of his was so confused. It just did not know its backside from its front side anymore. And it all started with him also thinking, oh, it's not working, I need to uninstall it or remove it and try again. And I'm not sure where the problem comes in, but remember the guy uses symbolic links to set it up, and those symbolic links are only active while his program is running. And if you move a location, the symbolic links don't work anymore. And if you uninstall and reinstall and do all these things, it's like that thing just gets confused. So try and minimize removing and replacing. You know, that was one of the big issues we had with Uncle John's machine. You know, it just got confused eventually. I'll show you guys just now. If I just park, I'll give you a couple of tips, and then Steve, what we'll do is we can meet on Discord, and then we can look at your thing personally. But let me give the guys a couple of tips here while we're talking about it. Dave, yes, that's Sam, the gateway add-on thing. Some of us, especially if you've got Orbex scenery, we still need it, you know, and we still need to install the stuff. So Sam has got a trick to it, and you need to understand the trick, otherwise your autos don't work. And I think that is the big thing that has caught most people out with the autos, because they don't understand that side of things. Then they get themselves in a twang. Right, I just want to file my flight plan for the VA and then I'll show you guys. Thank you for watching, by the way. So for those guys not interested in autos, this is the end of the stream for you guys. Then we'll check you guys tomorrow again. Alright, and there's the jetway coming. Alright, so it's doing its thing. Okay, so gents, the first thing you need to do is go find your SAM and go to the settings. Right, excellent. So you need to go to your settings and you need to look at this inscription where it says your libraries. By default, it's on automatic. You need to set it to manually added by user. Okay. The reason is, and only Sam can answer this question, I do not know for the life of me why it would be important for them to do what I'm about to tell you. In the automatic setting, it continuously, it seems to be alive, and it continuously updates or changes or rewrites or something. And then what happens is your scenery pack INI in X-Plane gets overwritten, updated, overwritten, and then your AutoOrthos don't know where they are, what they should do, and they just get totally confused, okay, because of this thing. All right, I'm using layman's terms to make it easy. All right, we can get really technical. It's not important. The fact of the matter is you need to set this thing to be manually added, and that way you take away this nonsense of SAM that continuously rewrites and overwrites your scenery pack INI. Okay, so Steve, that's how you get rid of your first problem. Okay, just fix my spelling there. Wow. All right, so once this is done, you're halfway there. Right, then I'm just going to close my X-Plane. All right, then we have to look at this. All right, I've got Doken installed, and this is my folder structure. Okay, my D drive I specifically chose because it is a 12 terabyte hard drive, a single 12 terabyte hard drive. It has got more than enough space for the cache and for the downloads. So that is why I picked the D drive for those two folders. The scenery install directory and the X-Plane install directory is self-explanatory. You have to have that correct, and it has to point to the correct location. Okay, so that's self-explanatory. This is a user option. So if you watch my other video, you'll see I talk about it. By default, when this thing installs, it wants to put it on your C drive. A lot of guys have got a 256 gigabyte little mouse of a SSD running their Windows, then they run out of space. Windows doesn't want to start. It becomes a mess. This thing gets slow as hell. You know, it's a problem. And that's why I suggest that you if you have a big enough C drive, it's fine. If you do not have space on C drive, make sure that you specify a different location. Okay, and it's as easy as setting it up and clicking the save button. Once it's saved, it will remember. Okay, and then the only other thing that you need to do is you need to obviously install under scenery. You need to install all the packs, or at least the areas where you fly. I know a lot of guys that only fly in North America. They don't fly anywhere else in the world, so there's no point in installing the rest. Okay, but me, I fly everywhere, so I installed every single one of these packs. This in total is 100 gigabytes plus minus that you need to download and install. Right? You can follow the logs in this tab, and you can also see when you start up, you know, that it's running if you view the logs. Okay, so if you want to take screenshots, do it now, or come back, pause the video, take a screenshot. This is what you need to have. So just to refresh your memory, I use Doken as my engine and not WinFSP. Uncle John cannot, on his system, he can't use Doken. He has to use WinFSP. So if you get stuck, try the other one. Okay, but please, whatever you do, do not go and uninstall and reinstall and uninstall, reinstall. You're going to mess it up somewhere along the line. This thing is going to get confused. I saw it on his machine, and I don't want you to have the same experience, okay? All right, then there's another thing I want to point out to you guys, and this is also one of the reasons why I prefer to use open file location. Okay, the reason I prefer to use the zip file is if you look at my structure, This is on that big 12 terabyte, my big purple drive, right? There's my AutoOrtho. That is the program. That's the cache. That's the old cache. I still need to delete it. I delete it little bit every day because that thing was like 150 gigabytes. And it takes forever to delete. So I do it little bit. So that's, not related. There's downloads, there's the logs, and there's the ZAuto. Okay? So what happens is if you now want to update, you see I'm on version 0.7.1. Okay, so if you use the zip one instead of the exe, all you do, it's just like the Zibo update. You go in there, you get your zip file, open it up, and you extract into this folder, overwriting the old files, close it down, start up this one, and you'll immediately see you're on the new version. That's how easy it is. But how the guys do it with the exe, I don't know. I don't know if you can just run the exe on top of the other exe or whatever. I don't know. But like I say, because I'm the control freak, I use the zip file, I put it where I want it, I simply open the zip file and extract and overwrite the old files. There's nothing to it. It's just like updating the Zibo. All right. And it works. I've been updating my one since version 5 or 4. I can't even remember where I started. I mean, it's just, that's how easy it is. There's no reinstalling. There's no weirdness. Between, I think it was 5.9 and 6 or somewhere there, or from 5.9 to 6, you had to download new scenery. But it told you. And all you do is you click the button and then it did its own thing. There's really nothing to it. And I think a lot of guys step into the poo, so to speak, when they overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's not necessary to overthink it. If it says click a button, you click the button. It does its own thing. If you look at the release notes, that's the only other recommendation I can make is read it. If there is a reason for you to go and delete your downloads, or your cache or whatever, he'll tell you. And I seem to recall there was that was one instance where from 5 to 6 or 6 to something, I can't remember, where we had to do something like that. But that's how easy it is. There's nothing to it. And when you are ready to run it, you click on the run button. It minimizes when it's ready. When it's ready, you can go fly. But there's an intermediate step. And I'm going to show you in my X-Organizer that intermediate step. You obviously have to go and set your scenery packs INI correctly. So let me quickly read your messages there. It's very easy, Dave. It is so easy. And I think the guys step in the nonsense when they overthink it. Okay. Rob, let's see. Additionally, if you use the SAM development pack to place marshallers, it is best to place the scenery pack, custom scenery SAM development pack as last row in the ini file. Excellent. That's an excellent tip. That's an excellent tip. Thank you for that. Dokan first. You install Dokan first because that's like your foundation. Just install the Dokan first. Right now in X-Organizer, I mean, I don't have to think about it. There you can see, there's my ortho photos. I created this to keep stock of my AutoOrtho. So there's a folder and an inscription in the ini file that's called AutoOrtho. This is the controller file. Okay, without this controller file, the system is not going to work. I call it a controller file because I see that most people understand it means it's important, so leave it alone. Because in the old days, X-Organizer used to moan about it. It gave an exclamation mark. It didn't know what to do with it. And then they go and delete it. And then AutoOrtho does not work, and they don't understand why. It's because they don't understand what it does or what the meaning of it was. So I started calling this a controller file because this is literally the heart of AutoOrtho. You need to have it, and you need to leave it alone. So I made a little AutoOrtho or Ortho photos, as you can see there, the little folder, and I just popped it in there so that, it's there. It needs to be there. All right. And if you don't have it, your AutoOrthos will not work anyway. And then over here, you've got North America, South America, Asia. That's it. That's the sum total of it. There's nothing to it. Under roads and overlays, there's your Y AutoOrtho. as well. So you need that one. You need that one, and then you need the actual base. And the base doesn't include a lot. I mean, look, there's like one inscription, but it knows what it's doing. This is how it works. Dexter just sent me a thumbs up. Yeah, so once you have your scenery layers in the correct position, there's no reason it shouldn't work, you know, and you can just go and have fun. The next big trick, which I don't understand, but a lot of people don't seem to get, is this program needs to be running the whole time while you are flying, because this thing looks at where you are. It takes everything into consideration, you know, your GPS location, basically. It fetches the tile and places the tile so that X-Plane can read it on the fly. And if this thing is not running, no orthos, it won't be there. It just won't work. So this is literally your interface program. It interfaces between token and your simulator and the internet to get the files. As easy as that. Dave, xOrganizer is my go-to little program. I'll show it to you again. Let me start it up quickly. Okay. Let me get the other side of the world in here as well so you can get a better understanding. X-Plane uses this file. Let me just get rid of this thing. Sorry guys, 1 second. Yeah, so now you can see my whole screen. You don't have to see this other stuff, right? So X-Plane is dependent upon your scenery pack INI. All right, and I just noticed where my development pack lies. It's right at the top. That's an interesting thing. Rob, you just said it needs to go at the bottom. xOrganizer puts it at the top. So the function of the scenery pack INI is you should have your scenery, your custom scenery at the top, then you have your global scenery below that, then you have your libraries, then you have your meshes. Okay, so there's a sequence in which it loads to form the X-Plane world. And if you don't have these inscriptions in the correct order, and in the beginning we all had to learn how to do it manually, okay, you will not see buildings, for instance. If your Ortho is at the top of this file, you will see very nice pictures, but there will be no autogen, there will be no buildings, no trees, nothing, because it's in the wrong position. So it's kind of like a house. You have the foundation at the bottom, which is your orthos. See, that is your orthos. All right, those ones. And then on top of the orthos, I see what this thing has done is it's put the libraries. On top of the libraries, we've got some AEVON. You know, now you've got the power pylons, the little homes, the little trees, the little buildings, and all those things. And then eventually, as it goes up into the layers, you'll see we get into the custom scenery, and then it builds like that. So you have a choice. You can either learn how to do this manually, how to put the layers in the correct place so that you see your trees and your buildings and your little cars and whatever you want to see, or you purchase xOrganizer, and this is xOrganizer. So xOrganizer runs on an XML database file in the background, and it literally sorts everything for you, you see, per country basically. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit more background why this was important. So first of all, it is crucially important to have the correct layering in your scenery INI, and this will create it for you and save it for you. But in the old days, in X-Plane 11, when Laminar introduced Vulkan was very finicky. And what we used to do is we would literally only enable the areas where we fly. So we were flying in the US today, so we would literally go and we would disable all the other areas. Okay, and the reason we did that is because of the Vulcan finickiness and its resource hungriness it had at one point in time. If you loaded too much stuff into X-Plane, it would just simply crash. And this tool is immensely important now for that, because the moment those little icons go red over there, it means those scenery are now disabled, right? So if we go put it back on green, and there is a color blind option as well for guys with color perception issues. So you don't work with red and green, because a lot of them struggle with it. There's a different way that you can set it up as well. But basically, it's to enable and disable as a secondary function. I'll tell you another couple of tricks quickly. Let's say, for instance, under plugins, let me show you here. Under weather, I've got Visual XP available, I've got Active Sky available, and I've got xEnviro. But you cannot run more than one weather engine at a time. The same goes for your multiplayer. There's AEVON and the AEVON CSLs, but there's VATSIM as well. So it is available to me. If I want to fly on VATSIM, I have to just do this. Now AEVON is dead, VATSIM is active. And to go back, I just flick it around the other way. If I want to run Active Sky instead of xEnviro, I put the red on xEnviro, the green on Active Sky, or we can change it to Visual XP, and that will be the next weather engine that starts up in my sim. So I don't have to go and copy and move and change things in my folder structure, you know. It's unnecessary. I simply start this little program and I say, okay, today I'm flying xEnviro, today I'm flying AEVON, Bob's your uncle, we're all happy, and there you go. And then for testing purposes, for instance, there's easy pushback, there's ground handling, there's shared flight, there's all kinds of things. I can enable and disable at the click of a button what I want when I don't want it, you know? Dave, in context, the answer to your question, so I can install over my current XP installation without messing anything, yes, you should be able to. There's no reason it should mess up anything, in theory. All right, okay, Rob, thank you very much. Because look, I mean, this thing sets it automatically. Okay, and I just left it, and I clean forgot about it. But anyway, it doesn't bother me. It just sits there. You know, it literally just sits there. Another valuable thing, there's three more things I want to show you about X-Organizer. Another valuable thing that you can do with this, obviously, is troubleshooting. You know, if you have like airport enhancement graphics or something, EAP, I can't remember exactly what they call it. It's airport enhancement package or something. I started picking up that I got huge stutters when I tried to land, and it was because of that. So it was easy enough to come and find it in my libraries and just, okay, I took it out now, I physically deleted it. I exchanged it for Airport Environment HD. See, so that EIP is gone now. But I mean, let's say Mr. X libraries, I know it doesn't give a problem, but this is for the argument, just for teaching, you know. I want to see if that's causing a problem for me, so I can disable it. Then I go fly. No, it wasn't that. I can enable it again. It's immensely powerful for that. Then in X-Plane, there's a little limitation that not a lot of guys know about, and not a lot of you will ever have to face it. But it happened to me. Some of the add-on aircraft didn't have enough resources, and you know what? It's because of the ground traffic. So if you buy scenery, and the scenery includes ground traffic, you know, these little cars that really just drive all over the place and straight through you, this is one place where you can actually come and save a lot of resources. Now, I haven't been in here, as you can see, for a while. So unless you really want that automated ground services, you know, in your scenery, and you want to save a little resource, do better resource management, get better FPS, obviously, you can come and you can disable those little crazy drivers, and you can say, well, I don't want them, and you can just untick it and apply. Now, the one place we might want them is definitely at Gibraltar, because it's going to mess up that arm, that goes over the runway to allow the cars through. So we might want to keep that one. Let's see. I don't really want the others, I must be honest. The others are just... You see, again, if I now go to the scenery and there's now a problem, it doesn't like me disabling it, I can come back and put the tick back in. But at this point in time, I'm going to click apply. There you go. Now I've got more resources, and I don't step in the trap of exhausting the explain resources behind the scenes, Right, then the other thing I want to show you is scenery coverage. This is a neat little tool that you have. So you can see by the click of a button, where you've got your ortho. How's that? Hey. And you can actually zoom in and you can get your tile numbers. You see over here, it gives you your tile number and it tells you where it will reside under. You don't have to just do it for orthos. You can look at your airports in Europe and you can see where you've got airports, what's covered. So that will be ENGM, that's Oslo. There's a couple of tiles there. I don't know what that's all about, but it looks like, see, that's all covered under the Oslo scenery, it seems. Yeah, so you can see where you've got your add-on scenery, what is entailed, what does it mean. There I can see I've got the Gibraltar. You see, you read it here at the bottom right-hand side. You see where my mouse is? And you can see what is included in your scenery package. I mean, I never knew that Oslo would include all of that, eh? I mean, that's news to me. Mr. Ty did a good job there. So that's for Europe. Now let's look at North America. You see, these are my add-on airports. I can immediately see what I've got, where I've got it. Memphis, Palm Beach. Yeah, it's nice. It gives you a very good idea immediately, just visually, where you've got your stuff. Okay, I've only got Harare there. Okay, that's one of Krister's airports. Without that airport, Harare doesn't work. So, yeah, there's much more to this program. Okay, you can have different preference profiles. I don't use this. Over here, you've got the same ability with aircraft. For instance, let me show you this. I don't know if they still do it. Yeah, look at this. Tollus, for instance, right? Tollus supplies different versions sometimes. Some of them will be explain 11, some of them will be explain 10. It looks like they took the explain 10 stuff out now. I don't see the explain 10. But for instance, I saw it many times. The guys would start the explain 10 version of the Tollus and they would complain, it's not working. And then I found out I can come in here and I can disable that one. You know what I'm saying? And it's just cool. You can see what you have, enable, disable it. Yeah, Alex, I agree. Yeah, get X Organizer to get rid of all your scenery pack stuff. This is the best money you can spend on Flight Sim 12. Eh? It's amazing. I'm not going to go into all the other details. It's irrelevant. But basically, you see there at the top, those buttons there, the ones that are green, the moment I made my changes and I exit out of here, because it's green there, it automatically saves all the preference files that was supposed to be saved. So I don't have to go and double check the scenery pack. I know nothing. It's done. It's finished. It's done. And that's it. That's how it works. Steve, are you winning on your side? You still need me? Because then we have to quickly look at your stuff. I've never got into using those profiles, but I've seen some guys use it, Alex. Yeah, I've seen some of the guys really enjoy using it. Anyway, let me just show you something now. Let's go over to the dark side quickly. I found this little add-on. It's called Add-on Linker. And this is the closest I got for Microsoft 2020. So it's very similar. I've got different regions I've set up for myself. So, you know, I don't have to have all the scenery open in Microsoft 2020 either. You know, and it's no habit that's come from X-Plane into 2020. I can switch things on and off, you know, depending on where I go and for troubleshooting and stuff. So this is just, you know, a similar product to X-Organizer, you know, for 2020. It's called Add-on Linker. So that's it. Let's see, Steve, quickly. Okay. Gents, that's it then for the stream. I'm going to help Steve quickly, see if I can get him going. And I'll chat with you guys in the morning. If you've got questions and stuff, I don't mind chatting with you after the stream like this if you have something pressing, you know, and if I can help, you know, let's see what we can do. Let me know. But I'm gonna quickly go up, Steve, and then get in bed. You guys have fun. You're welcome, Rob.